play around with dirty women. Are we on? Hello, my name is Nigel Peregrine, Maverick Loss Adjuster, insurance juggernaut, professional bastard, and welcome to a podcast where I share with you the truth about fighting on the front line of insurance and show you just how extreme the insurance world can actually be. So this is episode 5, and I just want to thank you, those of you who have gave positive feedback about episode 4. Thank you. What's been going on the past few weeks? Well, as you know, the insurance game is shitting relentless. And the past few weeks have been no different. What have I been up to? Well, I went to one appointment, and this is often the case. This often happens with some policyholders. They think they can intimidate the adjuster into paying what they shouldn't be paying or giving more than what they're entitled to. I had one policyholder, big bloke, shaved head, but it wasn't just him. Oh no, he had a loss assessor, a lesser, with him. And this bloke also was a fairly big fella, shaved head. Now, I knew what they were up to. I'm not stupid. But I told him, I said, here, the day I get intimidated by right said Fred is the day I step out the shitting game. So wind your fat necks in. They didn't quite like that. Couldn't give two shits, mate. What else? I was contacted by one insurer. They said they wanted some training from a loss adjuster's perspective. They wanted me to go in and give them a workshop on negotiation skills. And then they suddenly changed their minds. I only asked them if there was a first aider on site, just in case, somebody forgot to tap out, while I was demonstrating. So, I guess that's not happening. And another thing, we've had Halloween, ain't we, recently? All the children dressing up and knocking on the door, pissing and annoying. I thought I'd try and scare them. I didn't get dressed up. Well, I was dressed up, but dressed up as the standard insurance professional. That in itself is not a scary sight. Well, not unless you're a fraudularizer. And I thought, I'll try and scare them, give them a bit of trauma. So I showed them a photo that depicted true horror, particularly as this was a photo of a warehouse that had been decimated by a backed up shit pipe. I'll be honest, it didn't quite work. To be honest, the kids couldn't give a shit. So I gave them the laxative chocolate and told them to piss off. And that's that. So today's episode is a very special episode. And that is because I'm not on my own. I've got a guest. One of my colleagues. A bit of a legend of the game. He's a bloody good adjuster. Bloody good bloke. Housewife's favourite. Bit of a ladies' man. A brethren of the craft. The one and only Mr. Rigger Jones.
Hello, Nigel.
Rigger. Oh, Rigger. Bloody good to have you on board of the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you, Nigel. It's jolly good to be here.
How are you, mate? How you keeping?
You know me, Nigel. I'm calm. Like a cool, calm pool on the outside. But the mind of a loss adjuster never truly rests, does it? You know how it is. The incessant screams that keep you awake at night. The voices. Never relenting. What's the point of having insurance, they scream? Over and over. Why must the haunting continue, Nigel? Why?
I find a particularly strong homebrew helps. I'll pour you a pint. I've got a new batch I've come up with. It's called Non-Disclosure. It packs quite a punch. It's probably best I don't tell you what's in it. That's why.
Alcohol. To some, a choice of social enjoyment. A way to relax. But not the loss adjuster. No, for the loss adjuster uses alcohol as anesthetic. just to numb the pain of the day. Every day. Daily. Silencing the demons.
You do know there are phone lines for this shit, don't you? Are you alright?
Yes, I've never been better, actually.
Is that because of your much younger girlfriend, you dirty old bastard?
Can I just interject there, Nigel? It is completely legal. She's 23 years old.
Yeah, I know, mate.
Well, actually, Nigel, she's not my girlfriend anymore.
Shit, Rick. Well, probably a good thing, really. I mean, she was so much younger than you. You look like her grandfather. I was joking when I called you a dirty old bastard, but let's be honest, you did look a bit like a dirty old bastard. Either that or she was your carer. Nah, good riddance, mate. Never mind. Probably ran off with some young bloke in skinny jeans with a six-pack and a fringe, did she? You should try some of these dating apps. What's that one Rate My Fish. Or Fumble. You get yourself an old bird, more your own age. I could put an ad on the Facebook if you like, on a Facebook page, there's probably some old birds on there who'd probably like to get, hitched up with the old Rigger Jones. I could see you with a Doreen or an Ange. Better than a young dolly bird who spends half her life living on shit in social media, bragging about how much money you've spent on her.
Nigel, she's not my girlfriend. She's now my fiancée.
Wow. Wow. Good for you. You old dog, you. Yeah. I'll tell you what, let's have a drink. Let's have a drink to that. Yeah, congratulations. That's really, really good news. Really good news. I'm happy for you. I'll tell you what, we'll cut that bit out. He will. I mean, he does all the editing, all the recording. He's 17. He does whatever I shit tell him, Sponsorship. Oh, we got to do the sponsorship. You do it, mate. Go on, you do it. Yeah, go on, you do it.
Today's episode is brought to you in association with Declan E. Blunder, Loss Adjusters, where professionalism is at the heart of everything we do. I need another bloody drink.
Now, this bloke here, legendary adjuster, there's no one in the business who can negotiate like Rigger. Tell him about that negotiation you did last week. Go on.
Oh, it's nothing special.
Don't go all shy now like a floppy shit flap. No, go on. It was with Tesco, the big wigs, yeah. How much did you reduce it by?
80%.
80 bastard %. Can you believe that?
But it was past its use-by date.
It doesn't matter.
And there was superficial damage to the packaging.
Which you cleverly created yourself. They're shrewd days. I've done that myself with policy orders' contents when they've pissed me off.
It was the worst tart I've ever eaten.
Nice one. Now we've got Rigger here because we're going to give you a Peregrine tale. But in this epic true tale, it also stars the one and only legend here, to my right, Rigger Jones. Yeah, it's Peregrine and Jones.
May I ask, why not Jones and Peregrine?
Well, because it's my shitting podcast. Do your own. Call it what you're shitting like, mate, yeah? So you've got double the alpha today, and I'm expecting this to get loads of bloody listens, because the lonely ladies will be all over this like speckled mould on a bathroom ceiling. Now, there are times when adjusters end up in peril, and some shit goes down. Luckily, we're all bloody hard bastards, trained in search and rescue, hand-to-hand combat, and backgammon.
Speaking of fatty backs, how's your ex-wife?
Still with that beard, love.
Loss-assessing parasitic insurance slag.
Yeah, but to be fair, mate, it's loss adjusters who spread it about a bit, don't we, to the different insurers, so, I get what you're thinking, I get what you're trying to say. But if anyone's hauling themselves out to the insurance game and getting shafted while having fivers shoved in their mouths, it's adjusters, ain't it? Right. Today's episode is called The Code Full Situation. It was a Friday afternoon, and I had a meeting with a VIP. That's a very important pint. I was, after all, sitting in the Goose and the Gander sipping on a pint of my favourite Elven Quest ale. It was a Friday afternoon, for shit's sake. Now I was settling down, but my day was far from over. Suddenly, through the door, walks a familiar face. None other than a colleague and fellow brother-in-arms, Rigger Jones. Bloody good bloke, bloody good loss adjuster. He's a bold man with the most charismatic and impressive mutton chops.
Did you really have to mention that I was bald?
Well, 'cause you all, I've got to paint a picture, ain't I? You're not hiding it with a pitiful comb over, are you? That beard, love, is pathetic. Don't look like that. You've got a 23-year-old crawling all over your middle-aged, saggy body. Despite your varicose veins, ain't you? Bald beats comb over every shitting time. Now let me carry on. I'm bigging you up here, ain't I? Where was I? Combined with his beige suit, tinted glasses, and cowboy boots, it's no wonder the ladies swoon. He's also the best negotiator I know. This is you now, you read this bear.
Nigel Fierce Wind Peregrine.
Only when I've had a kebab, I replied. And the room heard the sudden crisp sound of two palms coming together with so much force that a small shock wave flew through the room and actually knocked an old man's toupee off. See? That could have been you if you were, about your boldness.
Can you not go on about it?
I will never mention it again. This was followed by the ensuing manly handshake / arm wrestle. This is you again now.
What's all this tie business? I asked, pointing at the stain on Nigel's tie, while simultaneously winning the arm wrestling.
Hold on, it doesn't actually say that bit. It was pretty even. Bloody Worcestershire sauce, I reply.
British, and yet has a tang of the exotic. A cornerstone to any condiment collection.
Yes, indeed, I reply. Still bold, I jibe.
You know me, Peregrine. I have the testosterone of a yak.
We both laughed for a good 5 minutes. Now, there's a bond between loss adjusters within an organisation that cannot be summed up in words. It's much like a brotherhood. We are united. We are family. We are a tribe of highly skilled and highly trained insurance professionals. And on our own, we can be a one-man riot. United, however, we are wave upon wave of unstoppable, unflinching, and fearless insurance experts. Rigger and I go way back. Rarely do our paths cross, unless it's at the odd insurance conference, or we happen to be getting disciplined at the same time. At the Christmas party, year upon year, we are renowned for tearing the place up. Literally tearing the place up is why our firm has been blacklisted for several venues in the local area. So, Rigger Jones, what brings you to my backyard? Fancy a drink? Even before he answered, I shouted to Shirley behind the bar. Shirley, love, a pint of Elven Quest real ale for my old friend here. Add it to the tab.
No thanks, Shirley. I don't have time for that right now.
What do you mean? You haven't gone all soft, have you? Started moisturising and doing yoga?
Of course not, Peregrine. What do you take me for? Some kind of fairy? The reason I've come is because we have an emergency, and we need you.
I felt my eyes become a wide glare. A wide glare for absorbing concerning information. What is it?
Well, it's Quentin Muddlemarch Silk.
Quentin is one of our new wave of young blood. Enthusiastic, full of ideas, hungry for success. Give him a couple of years and he'll just be as empty inside like the rest of us. Quentin, I say. What about him?
Peregrine, I'm afraid we've got a Code 4 situation here. I'm sorry, but this is the real thing.
Rigger said this with a hand on my shoulder in a completely masculine way.
Of course.
And I was not in any way aroused by the bodily contact.
Nor I, we are men's men.
Code 4, I repeated, looking into the distance. You see, back at Losajustine's School of Excellent Reserving, or laser as it's called, I'll talk about it some other time, we are trained in various emergency situations. Times when we are called upon for our services at any given moment. At Code 1, we have a weather situation. Code 2, we have a high-profile disaster case with media attention. Code 3, someone's having an asthma attack. Code 4, someone's been taken hostage, I said aloud, while still glaring into the distance.
I'm afraid Quentin has been taken hostage. Gary phoned from the office and asked me to do a drive-by of his last known location. He hadn't arrived at the next appointment and wasn't answering his phone. I drove by and saw his Fiat Punto outside the house. It could mean only one thing.
A Code 4. What about Albert Henselberg V, his mentor?
Haven't you heard? I had removed my hand by now. I'm afraid Albert left 3 months ago. He had a breakdown. He was asked to do 2 visits on an office day, and he just lost it. He took off his shirt, revealing his charter status tattoo. Then he ran down the local high street, screaming at an onion.
Good God. I had no idea. Being out in the field all the time, I just don't hear this sort of thing. Every adjuster needs his bloody office day. What were they thinking?
Besides, Albert was good at many things, such as baking, his Jim Bowen impression, and contemporary modern dance. But hand-to-hand combat was not one of his strongest suits, shall we say.
I need to call this in. I dialed a number. When they answered, I started. This is Bravo Delta 4373. I'm with... What? Bravo Delta 437. It's my bloody staff number. It's Peregrine. Can you tell Gary to give me a call when he stopped prancing about the office? This is a pissing Code 4 situation. I hung up and necked the rest of my Elven Quest. Right, let's go, I said. A voice from behind the bar called my name. Nigel, it was Shirley the barmaid. Are you going to pay or what? Your tab is currently £465.72. I said, for shit's sake, Shirley, we have a Code 4 situation. There's an adjuster out there being held hostage. Was probably going to turn a claim down, and now he's being held against his will to cover it. Not the first time. Won't be the last time. We've got to get him out. I haven't got time to sort this bollocks out now. Can't you call the police? Surely. Maybe if we wanted a bloody Morris dance. One thing about us adjusters in the field, we look after our own. I did say that, didn't I?
Word for word.
She placed her hand on mine and looked deeply into my eyes. Nigel, please be careful. Hey there, little lady, sweet illiterate goddess. I'll be fine. It's what I do. Apart from adjust the shit out of claims, I then ran my finger softly down the side of her cheek and underneath her second chin in a tender moment. Then I turned and faced Rigger, who was looking on.
I remember it well. I felt slightly sick.
Right, let's kick a shitting door in, I said.
Yes, let's be forcible and violent, whilst demonstrating a classic block and punch.
We high-fived and then stormed out of the bar. Now, subrogation is an insurance term, meaning that an insurer can have the right of recovery of the losses that you have incurred. We had a right of recovery of our fallen comrade. This was now Operation Subrogation. We left the pub, and on the street, directly outside, I had my black, apart from the passenger red door because of the original one being vandalised by a disgruntled policyholder, Ford Capri 2.8 Cologne V6. Behind it, Rigger had parked his Ford Cosworth Sapphire. This 1987 model had a 5-speed gearbox and 224 brake horsepower under the lid. In white, Rigger had kept it impeccably clean. I see you've still got the white Banshee, I said.
Still runs like a dream. I see you've still got the Beast.
Indeed I have, I said. I named it after the ex-wife. We both laughed for a good 5 minutes.
Is she still with?
Yes, beard love.
That man is a boil on the arse of the insurance industry.
To be honest, that was better than the insurance prostitution thing you said earlier. Indeed he is. Not only did he nick my wife, he bloody stole my pen and all.
What?
Yeah.
He intended to permanently deprive you of it?
A Parker stainless steel classic, £12.99 from all good retailers. It was a gift for 25 years' service. The ink hadn't even ran out yet.
How the bloody hell can he get to sleep at
Well,
night?
Rigger, I'll tell you this. I will have my revenge, damn it. I will have my revenge. How's your wife?
She's wonderful. We are always laughing.
I forgot about this.
She's wonderful. We are always laughing, even though she clearly thinks I earn more than I do and is quickly driving me into horrendous debt.
I forgot about this. This is before she left you.
Who would have thought that a woman 25 years my junior would be so perfect for me?
We can cut this bit out if you want.
No, it's fine. I've moved on. I have a mantra.
All right. I felt genuinely happy for my friend. I placed my hand on his shoulder in a masculine way. Looks like you found your soulmate. Congratulations. He looked me in the eye, smiling, and said,
Yes, brother. 4th time lucky.
well, 5th time now, eh? We suddenly realised that we'd been talking for so long that we could have actually had a beer. And so with a war cry and me shouting that I'd follow him, we both, in unison, combat rolled over our respective bonnets and jumped in our wheels of choice to tear up the streets and head towards the location of Quentin.
when Nigel started to appear on Gardener's World, it was only because he was there. There was no plan. Always, we'd film, put the dogs away, and then Nigel started to be around a bit, and the camera would pick him up.
Hello!
And then I realised he was a complete media tart and would choose the best position and just hit the light and all the rest of it.
Are you filming?
And people started writing and saying, "Oh, isn't nice? What's his, so and so." And before long, he'd taken over. And then by popular demand, he had to appear. And, directors would say, and for at least a year, if not more, it was random. It was completely ad hoc. And the director, is Nigel about? Yeah, he's asleep in bed. Get him out here.
Awesome.
That just happened.
En route to Quentin, we had some jovial antics as we both raced each other side by side at top speed. We weren't even on a dual carriageway or motorway, but apart from a cat, there were no serious accidents. Just two middle-aged adrenaline insurance junkies on their way to rescue their comrade, who was in a code 4 situation. Outside, the 3-bedroom detached house with a value at risk of approximately £254,000, we saw Quentin's Punto. We remained squatted behind our inconspicuous vehicles. I took a call on my mobile. It was Gary Tribbledunk, my manager. "Speak," I said. "Nigel, it's Gary. What's going on? I had a message saying code 4. "That's right. Rigger did a drive-by recon and having weighed up the situation came to fetch me. I need intel and I need it fast. He says, what do you need to know? I said, policyholder, Mr. Vincent Brazier. No mention of a joint policyholder. I said, date of birth. He says, aren't we breaching data protection here? I said, your data protection goes out the shitting window when you kidnap a brother. Come on, man. We're fighting for the insurance principles here. He relented. 17th of August, 1967. Give me more intel. What do you have? Well, he's up to date with his premiums. Has been with his current insurer for 5 years. No previous convictions. Has an excess of £250. It's a subsidence claim. Cracks on the outside of the building. I peek over the bonnet of my Capri to see the crack on the front wall. Hey, Rigger, take a look at that cracking. Tell me, what do you see?
I see a shitty-looking house, Peregrine. That render's at least 20 years old. Hasn't been looked after. That's just weather-related and definitely not as a result of a single isolated event.
Exactly, I say. My attention returns to the phone. Gary, we're going to go for a straightforward double penetration. One entry through the front door and one through the back. This should be a straightforward withdrawal and release of Quentin. But Nigel, are you sure? We don't know what this guy is capable of. This could be a goddamn suicide mission. I said maybe it is. For a youngster like Quentin, wet behind the ears, probably still wets the bed, muddle march, silk. But you've got the double dragon combo of Peregrine and Jones on this. And we're two of the best of the best of the best. But Nigel, Quentin's 37 years old. I said, piss off! And then hung up the phone. Rigger, ready for some classic DP?
I haven't double-dipped in years.
Oh, you will double dip again, brother.
I love kicking the back doors in.
I know you do, you bloody battle-ready heathen. Now is the time to be a fighter, not a lover.
Nigel, fear not. For my gentle caress, which can bring any woman to climax, can also become a clenched fist. And then I showed you how I made a fist with my hand, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I remember. It was definitely an epic moment that some might even call cinematic. Definitely cinematic. If just for anyone, any directors who might be, it was definitely cinematic.
But Nigel, I must warn you. Earlier I took the liberty of listening to the call recording with the policyholder when the appointment was booked.
And
let me tell you that this policyholder sounds like a dangerous man. A dangerous man because a dangerous man has no fear, and this man, by the sound of it, would be considered by the Financial Conduct Authority to be a confident customer. This is insurance, Nigel. A foreign language to the average Joe on Civvy Street. Daunting, confusing, anxiety-inducing pessimism at best. This man showed no fear, Nigel. No fear whatsoever.
Rigger. Maybe he's a serial claimer. Maybe he knows the game. Maybe he's a broker or some other arse candle. Whoever he is, remember, as confirmed by the Chartered Institute, you and I are elite. The best of the best of the best. That's why Marjorie, who works at the CII, that's what she actually said after you'd slept with her.
You're right, Nigel. Although I later found out that she was only a cleaner there, and also pretty desperate for a shag.
Let's go. You make the first move. When I hear the bang, I'll enter from the front. Before I forget, are you packing heat?
What do you think?
I then pulled out my brass companion knuckle duster from my side pocket.
I'd never leave home without it. Pulling out my telescopic baton and extending it with a stylish flick of the wrist.
Operation Subrogation was underway. We got into position. As a master exponent of parkour, Rigger jumped over the back gate with ease. I waited a couple of minutes for the first crash of Rigger kicking the back doors in. But I heard nothing. I peeked through the front window and could make out the interior. As expected, an absolute shithole. Says it all when in this day and age, a house still has dado rail, which in itself is a fraud indicator. I couldn't see Quentin. Just an interior that resembled the inside of a portaloo at a festival. Mr. Brazier, clearly a snooker fan, had a poster of the whirlwind Jimmy White over his fireplace. The lounge had been knocked through into the back room where I could see a set of patio doors. And then, in the distance, I saw something that looked familiar. It was a strange shape in the garden. Something beige. And an egg on the floor. Wait. No. It was my brother, Rigger Jones, lying face down on the floor.
Just to confirm, I wasn't dead.
All right, don't spoil it. It's amazing what the human body can do, and how a strange inner strength just suddenly takes over. Everything became slow motion as I let out a loud cry of pain and horror with an extremely long Then it all became a blur. But basically, I became a one-man riot, even though the classic definition requires 12 or more people. That meant some forcible and violent entry was going to ensue. With a powerhouse of a front kick, the 5-lever multi-deadlock front door flung open with ease. Thank God it's not a multi-point locking UPVC door, I thought. Because then it might have needed 2 kicks. still in slow motion, with a focused drive of steely determination. I entered the building and straight into the lounge, still shouting, As I entered the lounge with Jimmy White looking over me, I noticed a shadow in my periphery from behind the door. A large figure with a snooker cue. I shouted at the top of my voice. The snooker cue came hurtling downwards towards my head, much like that of a kendo practitioner, I thought to myself as it was happening. As I said, everything seemed to be in slow motion for dramatic effect. I sidestepped, and the momentum carried Brazier clumsily forward. I had turned to face him and shouted, "Where's the boy, Brazier?" Rigger, do you want to do his voice?
No.
See yourself. "He's gonna pay my claim," he shouted, while swinging the snooker cue wildly at me. I was avoiding it thanks to my cat-like reflexes. I could hear a commotion and a muffled cry for help from the cupboard under the stairs. I could only assume Quentin was in there, or it could have been a gimp. I've previously started an impromptu rescue mission at a property before, actually, knocking people unconscious, carrying a hostage out of the building, only to remove their bull gag to find out that they were pissing volunteering for their bollocks. And then they said they were going to complain that had harmed his boyfriend. It's all right, though. I reminded him that as the local councillor, he'd be wise not to shit in bother.
I've been in similar situations myself.
Have you?
Yes. But bull gags are quite uncomfortable.
He swung the cue at my head, and as I ducked, the cue smashed into the chimney breast, snapping it in half. His flow now broken momentarily, I seized this as an opportunity to attack. As Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, when there is a moment of stillness in the opponent's attack, kick the shit out of him. I pounced like a bloody predator that I am, throwing in a quick nut, a quick knee in a happy sack, and a throw through his bloody single glazed bay window. He was an unconscious heap on the front lawn. I turned to face the cupboard under the stairs when I stopped in my tracks. Stood in front of me was a bloody great big shitting Rottweiler, growling, foaming at the mouth and showing its teeth. "Easy, boy. Easy," I said. But it was in vain, because the dog darted towards me. Suddenly, from nowhere, a beige blur came cartwheeling in from the kitchen, ploughing into the dog and getting into a grapple with it. It was Rigger the Hype Train Jones.
It was I
know, I just said it was. It was messy and horrific. The sound of growling, whimpering, and beige tearing. At one point, I could see Jones had the rabid dog by the neck as he snapped at his face. Rigger shouted at me.
I'm good here. Get the boy.
I ran to the cupboard, opened the door, and there he was. Quentin, bound and gagged with a mouth full of PG tips. Barbaric treatment. I untied him and released the gag. "Nigel, I thought I was going to die." I said, "Don't be a bloody ponce." I jumped out of the cupboard, aware of the silence in the room, and feared the worst. But to my surprise, Rigger was sat calmly, petting the now relaxed dog. "Rigger, what did you do?" I asked.
It's amazing the effect a middle finger up the jacksie can have.
You know, I can't believe you were sniffing your finger.
No, I didn't. I said sorry for my late arrival. Slipped on a massive dog shit in the garden.
Not a problem, Rigger.
By the way, I found a bottle of champers in the kitchen. Took the liberty of putting it in the microwave and leaving the gas hob running.
Jones had used a technique that many loss adjusters learned during training. You see, the film Under Siege is actually a training video for loss adjusters, and within that film, we learn about the explosive force of champers in a microwave. How long? I asked.
About 10 seconds left.
Then let's get the shit out of here, I shouted, and the three of us ran out the front door. Rigger still with his new pet, sprinting to get behind our incredibly sturdy battle wagons. Boom! The explosion rocked the street. Alarms were set off, and Quentin's Fiat Punto, it took a little bit of damage. He wasn't best pleased with that, as he'd borrowed it from his mother-in-law. But for Rigger and me, it had been a bloody successful operation.
Brazier ran out of pot luck.
That was a good one, Rigger, yeah. We all laughed for a good 5 minutes. Well, except Quentin, who was still distraught about the Punto. We both jumped in the air and did a mid-air high five. With Rigger's clean hand, I must add.
Never leave home without hand sanitizer.
Come on, I said. To the goose and the gander. 3 pints of Elven Quester on me. And here we are now down the goose and the gander. We hope you enjoyed a true insight. Yet another expose into the life fine on the front line in the insurance industry. Code falls don't happen very often. But when they do, you got to prepare yourself for a bastard war. And don't think it's just the male adjusters who go in. Oh, no. The lady adjusters are sometimes the first on the scene, and they don't piss about. Straight in there, without backup sometimes.
I once saw Sandra Brillo Pad's spice rack monkey up a drain pipe like she was on wires. She was straight through the open bathroom window before I could tell her she was at the wrong premises.
Right, we're going to answer some of your questions from my followers on the Facebook or on the LinkedIn. Send questions to me, and I'll do my best to answer them. Rigger, you got time to help answer a couple of questions?
Yes, but I must get back soon, Nigel. I promised to take the good lady to her dance class. She's got a one-to-one with her partner, Brett.
Right.
It's a whole weekend of training, apparently. She's very committed and extremely supple. I hope that one day I actually get to see her dance. I've been paying for the lessons for the past 3 months.
I see.
I'm not worried.
Great stuff. So the first question is from Tamara Sputchel, and she writes in, "Hello, Mr. Peregrine. I've recently had lip fillers. As you can see in the photo, it's not gone to plan." Shit a brick. Look at the state of that.
Good God. What is this dark magic?
She continues, "My boyfriend has left me, and I'm afraid to leave the house. I want to hold those responsible. Can I make a claim against them?" Well, it's not really my area of expertise, and I don't know what you asked for when you signed up for that. I mean, did you go insane, make me look like a bad Jar Jar Binks with an infection? Is that, because if that's what you've asked for, you kind of got it there, ain't you? What do you think, Rigger?
I'm trying to think of something positive to say.
Yeah, you're right. Let's look at the positives, yeah? Probably best you stay indoors, because that is a trip hazard. And if you're going to go down, it's better to go down on carpet than on concrete. Rigger?
If you have visitors with limited seating, you have effectively got additional seating for them now.
Good point. Well made. And look, if you do claim, maybe you'll get a few quid and think of the money you could make, when the bad weather comes. Everybody needs their drives and paths clearing when the snow shows up, don't they? You'll be quids in, Maybe you could pay for them to be, deflated or something, I don't know. The first human snowplow. Good question and good luck with it. I hope you get it all sorted out. The next question is from Patricia Kibblestick, and she says, "Hello, Peregrine. I noticed in your recent video for the shitting mug draw that you got a bit of a belly on you. Don't you think you need to start watching what you eat? More piglet than Peregrine." Right, okay. Thought you could have a pop, did you? Personal attack on my physical appearance, Kibblestick. Thought you'd have a pop, eh? Well, firstly, I am in my prime physical condition for loss adjusting, yeah? I can still move with agility.
Especially towards an open bar.
Yeah, but I'm still capable of having a good grapple should the need arise. If the policyholder thinks they can get a bit handy. Yeah, but listen here. It would be easy for me to have a pop at you, your physical appearance. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay professional. I'm going to stay above it. Yeah. But what I will say is,
Oh dear.
good on you, fair play. Because, I bet there aren't very many Freddie Mercury female lookalikes about. And I don't mean early Freddie Mercury, I mean mid-80s Freddie Mercury. That moustache of yours is absolutely spot on. And you can clearly eat a cornetto through a shitting letterbox. Good on you. Good luck to you, love. Now, piss off! I think we'll have one more question. And this comes from Harry Anonymous. Unusual name, isn't it? He says Nigel.
Oh
I
dear.
keep having to say this, right? I don't know an Harry Anonymous.
Bloody hell.
Yeah? Which means if I don't know you, you don't know me. You're not in the inner circle. You can piss right off. I'll finish the question. He says, I work for a leading insurer as a claims handler. Leading insurer at what? Hiring pissing ball bags. Hey? He's a claims handler. Anyway, and he goes on. So I appoint loss adjusters all the time. And I think it's quite a cushy job. A nice little number. I don't know what all the fuss is about. I think your Facebook updates and podcast is an exaggeration. Why don't you just admit it, Peregrine? What do you reckon of that, Rigger? What do you think?
Well, I want to find out where this bloody arsehole lives, Peregrine. And then I want to adjust the contours of his face.
Easy, Rigger.
Rendering him unrecognizable to his loved one.
Easy now. Breathe. Remember, you're on tablets.
Indeed I am. And the battle against vitamin D deficiency is not an easy one, let me tell you.
Right, let's answer this. I mean, let's just, let's see for what it is. He's just another keyboard warrior, giving it large behind a crumb-covered, festering keyboard that harbours more filth than the toilet seat he gets paid to sit on whilst browsing Twitter and wiping his shitting bogies on the bastard wall. Who rejoices in having a moan about the adjuster because it's not as if we're trying to accommodate every other pissing insurance company and all. And when half the jobs we're dealing with are because these keyboard cretins haven't got a shitting clue, don't know what they're doing, or don't have the bollocks to tell a customer they're not covered, so they leave it to us to look into the soulless eyes of their customer, tell them the bad news, face the onslaught, and then have to write a pissing report when our time would be better spent dealing with the real issues instead of keyboard joy boys' ignorance, incompetence, cowardice, and piss-poor attitude. Well, listen here, Harry Anonymous, I invite you to spend the day day with me. See if you can shit in Hackett and see if you can survive, because Bear Grylls would probably rather chew on a dead ferret's arsehole whilst wading waist deep through Dagenham High Street than face the front line of the insurance industry.
Bravo, Nigel. Bravo.
I'm all right. Now, I'm going to have a few drinks with Rigger. I've got some Chinese spare ribs in the fridge and some garlic bread and the World Darts final from 1986 on video for later, so it's going to be a bit of a blowout for me tonight. I want to thank Rigger for coming to join us today. Hopefully we'll let you come back, and I'll probably see you at the Christmas do.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you.
Thank you all for shitting listening. Listening, not shitting and listening. Unless maybe you're at work and doing some multitasking. As usual, if you liked what you heard, please rate the podcast at iTunes or wherever you're listening to it on. Share it with those you know might enjoy it, other insurance juggernauts or just anybody really who might like to find out what the harsh truth is about the insurance industry. And get in touch with me on the Facebook or the LinkedIn with a question or whatever. I always, do my best to try to respond to whoever gets in touch. And that's the end of it. So from Rigger and I, and the rest of the Goose and the Gander, I just want to say cheers, and I'll drink to that.